Hi, I'm Uzoma. Welcome to Tomorrow, Episode 1, The Perfect Human with Dr. Yemi Johnson. I know, also another TV series, The Bionic Man. In those days, I used to watch an interesting series where you had this man that had an accident, and then the military put him back together. All his organs were functioning. Maybe his legs were kaput, so they gave him bionic hand, bionic leg, and they put one little chip in his brain. Now, so when I think of even globally and not just from a Nigerian context. Now, when I think of medical progress, when I think of medical progress, what is happening, what used to happen before and what used to happen now, especially from the perspective of if somebody's limbs or if somebody had, for example, today, diabetes, I hear, is one of the biggest reasons why there are amputations in number one reason in Nigeria. And so those are need to have. So you have this prosthetic limb, but you can see that this person has, unless he's wearing trousers, of course, but it's actually getting much better. Yes. Much better now. Then you have, so those are must-dos. But in today's world, you also, I want a perfect shape. So you have plastic surgery is big. And also BBL. Big, yeah, BBL, even I would say facelifts. Men and women have it. So those decisions are not want to have and not need to have, and how from a societal perspective, how do you? Is that a welcome from a medical perspective, or people just being excessive?
Well, that's an interesting question, because I've had this debate in my own mind myself. When people come to me, they want to have boob jobs or BBL, and they want to make the surgeon wants to be sure their hearts can handle the surgery. It is easy to look at what they're doing and condemn it, saying they're just being, looking at how they look, their beauty and things. But then you think back and realize that, well, it might not just be that superficial. For that person, that might be the identity. They might have an identity crisis. And you tell them they can't do this, that it's not wise. They go around looking for somebody who will endorse what they're doing. And then you think about it. Why am I being so judgmental? Is it for me to decide how she wants to look? After all, we all go and buy new clothes. We do this, we buy fancy cars. How is that different? This is something that's important to that particular individual. You do not know what emotional problems they have in the background. So I just tell them the risks. And I say, yes, your heart can handle it, or no, I don't think your heart can handle it. I don't go into the reason why they're having it done. After all, somebody has breast cancer, they get a mastectomy. Many of them come back to have surgically implanted breasts so they can look back to normal. Now, how is that different from somebody who just feels they want something better? It's the same thing. It's the same procedure. So the reasons might be different, but that now comes down to your soul and your spirituality, and not just your body. So the thing is a complex interaction. So I have stopped looking at those things as purely cosmetic. Yeah. It's a lot more than that.
So the perfect human is actually a connection between the body, the mind, and the soul,
or the spiritual,
and the spiritual.
I'd like you to tell me the difference between mind and soul.
I don't even know. I don't actually. So is the soul connected to the spirit and the mind connected to the body?
Well, the mind and the body can be evaluated by our technology and things. The mind is the brain. There's physiology behind it. We can see the neurons interacting with each other. But the soul...
Yeah, and the mind, right?
Yes, that's the mind.
So because I wake up in the mind.
So the mind is pretty much like AI.
Yeah. Are you sure? Because I wake up and so like.
But the soul is different.
So help me with this. So I wake up in the morning and like, look, I know like my mind's telling me, Uzoma, you got to go to that gym today. You said you're going to go to that gym, but my body is telling me no. In fact, what is working? I don't. So which is my body talking to my mind, or is my mind talking to my body?
I think they interact. It goes both ways. Nobody's sure about this, but it goes both ways. Your mind is like playing golf or playing tennis. Your mind knows exactly what you want to do, and your body will say, well, that's your plan. It's not my plan. So there's continuous conflict between the mind and the body. There's no doubt about it. Then the soul, that is a lot more complicated for us to define or measure, because that's in the abstract. That's about being. That's about spirituality. Then what's spirituality? Some will say it's religion. Then some will say no, religion is a man-made thing. It is dogmas, it is doctrines. But spirituality is getting closer to yourself, trying to understand the divine or the afterworld, or what else, what are we in this world for? That's different from the mind. The mind puts it all in logic, all in sequence. So the mind is more measurable, it's more scientifically measured. But the soul, so far, we can't define it. That is why we don't know. Do animals have souls? The viruses have souls? Nobody knows. We assume they don't. But we now know that actually animals do. They remember, elephants remember when what they call baby elephants die. They grieve, and it's been demonstrated. So who now decides what has a soul and what doesn't?
So, Doc, as we get older, you're a sports person. So, like, as we get older, and like I know that you're a sportsman. You used to play tennis. You used to play. You play golf today.
Yesterday.
Mm-hmm. You played golf yesterday. I did too. So, is there any part of your body today that you would replace so that you play better golf, or you just say, I am meant to get older and decrepit and find another sport other than golf? So would you swap any body part to continue to enjoy that? Because I believe, based on what we've just been discussing now, the mind, body, and the soul, right? If golf makes you, fulfills you or makes you a bit whole, I'll just give you something to do. Would you be ready to, replace that body part so that, that connection and that being human would...
That question is deeper than you think. It is. Okay, like me, my biggest physical problem now is my knee, my left knee. I've had surgery on it. I've been told the next stage of surgery will be knee replacement. Now, do I want to have a knee replacement because of golf? I actually asked that question to my orthopedic surgeon many years ago when he said I had to stop playing tennis and squash. He said, if I don't stop, I'm going to end up with a knee replacement. I said, all right, can we bypass all that and do the knee replacement now so I can play tennis and squash? He said, no, you still cannot play tennis and squash, so I forgot about it. I know at some point I might need knee replacement because it hurts when I play golf. But for now, I can deal with the pain. If I can't deal with the pain, then I will get my knee replacement, but not because I want to improve golf, because of the pain. That's the main reason. But yes, I don't have a problem replacing my knees. But then the question is even deeper than that. What about your heart transplant? Somebody has to die before you get a heart transplant. How do you feel about all that? It's not the easiest decision to make.
Yes.
But then when you're about to die, and you know that's the only thing that's going to help you, you will do it. But then you've got to come to terms with all other issues. All right, we are brought up, rightly or wrongly, to say the soul rests in the heart. Now you get somebody's heart. Are you going to get his soul? Are you going to change? Is anything going to change? I don't know. I don't think so. We've interviewed many people. And it's interesting the kind of stories they come up with. And some even get to know the family of whose heart they have. And This is where the soul comes into place. We can do it physically. We can do it medically. Is it the right thing to do? Are you going against, if you are a religious person, are you going against God's plan? Or is that God's plan?
That's
These
if,
are
you,
questions.
that's if you're inclined in that spiritual direction.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, like,
and sometimes as a doctor, I ask myself, why am I doing this? Is this what is this all about? That we're not going to live forever. So what is this all about?
But nobody wants to die.
Nobody wants to die.
Nobody wants to die. In fact, I think the whole, which I find very interesting, because the whole medical drive is for people to have fulfilling lives and longer lives. And much longer lives. And as we pursue that from a medical perspective and leveraging on technology, so we talk about somebody has to die today for you to have a heart.
Yes.
How soon are we going to get to a time when you won't need a heart, a human heart, to continue to live? And you will need...
We're already there.
Exactly.
They're artificial hearts.
So
they're artificial hearts. And right now they're not lasting as long as the transplanted human heart, but they're getting better every day. They're getting better every day. I used to think it was an impossible dream to bring it to Nigeria, but it's one of the things I personally want to bring back here within the next 5 years. And I think it is very achievable. It is easier to do that than to get a human heart in our culture, where there are all sorts of spiritualities involved in this thing. But the artificial heart is different, and it does work.
So let me ask a question. This is.
And you don't have to be plugged up to NEPA all the time. There's a portable battery.
So this is actually, this is like, this conversation is going not the way I planned it, but very interesting. So
never is me.
So like, so we so we cure. So like, I mean, like, like, so there's, when I think of like from my own perspective, of when I think about the crazy, I mean, like, some of the diseases that people that affect people. So there is brain disease, Alzheimer's, forgetfulness. And of course there's work being done there. There is brain disease, there's the heart, right? And then you have those your organs, right? And then of course you have the great cancer. Now, if you cure all these things, especially cancer, as far as if you cure all these things, and then you can have mechanical or artificial organs, I mean, what does it say about that? About longevity and quality of life, and what is real and what is not real? So, like, I have these mechanical parts. I have all these, but I have all the including my heart as well. The only thing that is, back to our original conversation, like how we started, the only thing that is actually mine is my mind and my soul. Are you human, or are you a machine with a mind and a soul? And then what differentiates you between a robot and a human being?
Well, I have no doubt in my mind that 50 years from now, all these questions you're asking, they're going to come to pass. Those things are going to happen. Technology is really advancing in leaps and bounds. It really is. And there will be a time where almost all body parts can be replaced. And not necessarily with humans. They can clone them. They can do several things. So they're already cloning things, like sheep and stuff. One reason I haven't done it to humans is because it's not legal most places, but I would not be surprised if it's going on secretly somewhere else.
You need another Hitler to advance science.
Yes, so the technology is there. It is improving. And there are going to be people with different body parts, and I guess the most difficult to fix would be the brain. But with the way AI is going, I don't think that's going to be a difficult thing any longer.
I mean, because when you think about it, I know that you have conversations with your favorite AI module. And
yes, from time to time, yes.
You have discussions, and it becomes your best friend. So, I mean, for me, that's part of that. And the more you have a conversation, the more it knows about you, and the more it can be not reactive, but perceptive of what you're even going to ask. So, do you think that piece of intelligence is going to fit into a brain one day?
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind.
And do you think that it's going to also That's some scary stuff.
Oh, it's scary, but it's going to happen. It is going to happen. There's no doubt. The technology is there. And AI is doing better than a lot of brains. And I cannot but see its adaptation to people with Alzheimer's and things like that. It's just going to be a question of how you plug it into the body. But I am certain that's going to happen. Because science is also driven by the fact that people want to live longer and don't want to die. So we're going to put a lot of resources into
We want to live
thing.
longer and better.
Yes. So we're going to put a lot of resources into these things. And then I won't be surprised if they clone people just go to war, clone people to do different things.
Like we've seen in the movies.
Humanity we know now will be very different from 100 years from now.
So like when I think about tomorrow, so like, you know, we're talking about today, we know where we are today. When I think about tomorrow, so I think of certain jobs, certain roles in life. So areas like psychology and psychiatry, especially with all these transitions going on, I mean, do they have a role to play? This is going to be very prominent. Do you think people are going to have to deal with, are going to have like sessions because they need to be able to understand that whole transition in life? I mean, like today, for example, I think, you know, like just having to, before the show started, before we started talking, we had a conversation about generations, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, baby boomers, all living in the same space because we're all living longer. Before, you only had 2 generations or 3 maximum, and but each one of them is relevant in this space. And so trying to deal with each other because we all have come from different contexts. Some are born like my daughter is, as far as I'm concerned, she's born with a brain. My last one she was born with a laptop or an iPad, and so her world is just completely different. Her brain is completely different.
And like I said, we only use 10, 15% of our brain as it is now. That's what they say. So you can imagine what's going to happen down the line. It's going to be very different. And like you say, all these science fiction movies, it's like people involved in science and technology think that way. And it's what they face to do. Things don't just happen by chance. They keep experimenting with one thing or the other, and then something works out. And it's usually what people think about in the future. It's like, you have to remember, lifespan improved because of technology and medicine, not because of anything else. Technology and medicine is why lifespan has been increasing. And in the US, for example, it's sort of stagnant, and lifespan has just plateaued and started drifting downwards. In other countries, it's going up. Nigeria, when I first got here, was 40-something years average lifespan. Now it's almost 60. And that's because we're applying the technology and medicine that the Western world had. And with new things are going to improve. I do not know what the limit of human body or life is, because it's going to change as time goes. Like you said, there will be cyborgs, there will be different things. And
so
it's interesting.
People are going to be living with their great-great-grandchildren in the future. I mean, do you think people are going to get tired of just existing? If you achieve... Because, look...
I don't think so.
No, so look, so like today, right, I think that the whole idea of... I think what we're trying to achieve... I think what people are trying to achieve is create an ecosystem where all the mundane work is done by robots and technology. And then human beings get to do what humans do.
Which is, it changes every generation.
Which is to progress humanity.
Yes, but remember something about humanity. So far, since the beginning of time, humans have been killing each other viciously for
a reason.
Or not. Or good reason, bad reason, but I do not know a good reason to kill somebody else.
Flight or fright.
Maybe, but we've been doing this. So I wonder, you look at all the weapons of mass destruction all around the place. We seem to have refined the art of killing. But it's more sophisticated now, but we're still killing each other.
But Doc, okay, yes, I agree. So there's always good and bad. One of my favorite shows is like Star Wars, because it's all about good and bad. And sometimes I think we focus more on bad, but the whole, as you just said it, the whole idea of medicine and technology is to elongate life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So,
and improve quality of life.
And improve quality of life. And I know, like, and I know that a friend of mine told me a long time ago, like 5 years ago, one of my colleagues when I was at Diamondback, he said to me, Uzoma, and this is coming back to humanity. He says that developing countries are very religious, but less spiritual. But the people that sold us religion, which is the Western world, are now more spiritual and less religious. And I said, and I asked him, what do you mean by that? And he said, like the value of life is more important from them than here. We're very religious, but when you look at the extent of the resources that we put into ensuring quality of life, right? It's questionable, and so I think it depends on the context, and so there are people who are trying to create a better world for people. But for me, if I asked you, okay, what is your definition of humanity? How would you describe it? From your own perspective?
Difficult though. I've asked this question to myself many times. What is humanity all about? Mm-hmm. But one thing I come away with every time is there's good and there's evil. Mm-hmm. And depends on what side of the spectrum you are on. And those some of us call evil, in their own minds, they're not evil. They're good. So it's a very complicated thing. I don't think I know the answer yet. But I remember AI telling me when I asked these questions, I ask this question to AI regularly. I said, why have human beings always killed each other? And he said, for as long as there's humanity, there will be wars and killing like that. I said, interesting. But yes, humanity is complex. And then I keep thinking about space. I think until if we ever know what happens after this physical body dies, we are going to be toying around with a lot of things, trying to figure out what is this all about. Because you look up into the sky and you wonder, what goes on there? Is that where your spirit goes when you die? Nobody knows. Everybody has his own opinion, assumptions. Mm-hmm. Some claim they know. I call that hallucinations, but I can get in trouble for that statement. But, when you see religious people, a lot of it is indoctrination. Rightly or wrongly, a lot of it is indoctrination. Somebody who is brought up to recite Christian prayers every day from childhood, that is going to stick in their brain. Even when they get to 90s. Same person, Islam, it's going to be the same thing. So a lot of what we think about the afterlife is indoctrination. But some ask questions and try and figure out what is it we're going to see. Then you try and relate it to what you're doing here. And then you say, is it just... But I think we all know that there's something out there. Yeah. There's a lot out there that we do not understand. All you have to do is go to a planetarium. In 5 minutes, they're done with Jupiter, Mars, and all those things we know. They're not talking about galaxies and galaxies and galaxies. And it's beyond comprehension. Have you tried to read astrology? It's difficult.
Yeah. I like to keep things simple. For me, my own perspective of humanity, one perspective is that, the whole idea is a journey, your journey, your limited journey, and the whole idea is to play your role in leaving the world a better place. Now, what is a better place? And but now, coming back to, okay, how long do I have to live? I think if I live longer, it will give you more time to know more, do more as well. And I think humanity is just leaving the place in a better stage for the next set of people. So we're just transiting.
Depends on what you define as humanity.
But
It
mine just
depends.
living the world
Yeah,
in a
that
place.
would be your own angle.
Yes.
Some people we know,
So are you saying
living the world a better place has nothing to do with them. They don't care. They just want to enjoy the max out of the life they have here.
Yeah.
And to hell with those who want to come after me.
Would you call that humanity?
That's what I say. It depends on what you define. Humanity and being humane are two different things.
Okay, exactly.
And sometimes I wonder why we call it humane, because if humans are humane, or humane is defined as after what humans are, many people we know are not humane.
Yeah.
But they're all part of this humanity we're in.
Yeah.
So humanity, in your own perspective, your spiritual outlook is that living the world a better place.
Yeah.
Some other people don't have that outlook.
So
They just want to amass wealth, and whatever the world does behind them, they don't care.
So from a mind, body, and soul,
Yes.
what is your perfect human?
Well, first, I know enough to know that as of now, it's difficult to get a perfect human. Everybody's definition of a perfect human will be different.
Okay, so what is the journey?
The body of a perfect human is it's easy to define. You want everything to work perfectly.
Exactly.
No arthritis, no heart trouble, no this, no that.
So does that include biological and non-biological parts?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, we got that. Perfect body, working perfectly.
That's easy to define.
Whether it is.
Yes.
Okay, great. We're
Not even
together.
growing old.
We're together, exactly.
Yes.
Okay. Age.
That's humanity. Yes, everybody function working well. If not working, you replace it.
Yes, exactly.
Mind is also part of the body.
Yes.
Mind remembers. It thinks. It is logical. Sometimes illogical. But mind can be defined in various ways. But soul is the one that's difficult to define. You cannot define it in scientific terms, but it is your inner being. It is your spirituality. It is how you want to connect with the outside world, things that we don't understand. What's going on in the moon? Why am I here? Those are what the soul is all about. This is evil. This is not evil. That's the soul.
So do you think that if people don't die, that whole idea of the concept of soul would be relevant?
You're asking me a spiritual question I do not have the answer to.
I'm from a medical perspective. I'm looking everything from a medical perspective. Do you think people would? I mean, like there's some, like we've had this discussion before. There are people who accept death.
Yes, I was going to come to that. Yes. And I said that at your dad's funeral.
Yeah.
People who are comfortable in their spiritual form do not. At that time, I said people who are religious don't fear death the way some other people do.
Religious or spiritual?
Yeah, religious, I said, I think.
Yes.
But spiritual is what I think is what I should have said, because you don't have to be religious to be spiritual. Yeah. You don't have to. I have seen people who do not believe in God. Unfortunately, in my job, I see them all the time, people dying. But you can see they're at peace with everything around them. And they know that, well, my time has come. I just hope I did a good enough job. And whatever I meet after this, if I meet anything, so be it. They're comfortable. Now, some other people just don't accept it and they fight and till they're unable to fight. So it's something we don't understand yet. Medicine doesn't go that far. We don't know that part. We know the body, we know the mind. We do not know the soul.
So would you say today, like yesterday, today, tomorrow, so would you say today the perfect human is one who has run his good race, the body has given up, but spiritually they've accepted it's time for them to move on?
Maybe, but that is, you're talking about the perfect human at the end of life. Talking about perfect human in middle age.
Middle age.
What is that? I think there's no such thing as perfect, but they strive.
Then what will be middle age then?
As of now, it's 40s to 50s.
50, yes.
Okay. So what's the perfect human?
Yeah. I think
somebody who strives.
That's a good average, like at half.
For now.
For now. So like let's say the median
Middle age, 50 years ago
50
was 30.
Yes, it's true. So like at 50, what is the perfect human?
At 50, what's the perfect human?
Yeah.
Somebody who is physically and mentally fit medically, and spiritually is striving.
With biological or non-biological parts.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
You can have artificial knee, artificial everything, but physically you are fine, and mentally you are fine, and mentally I am sure artificial intelligence will play a role in that.
Yes.
So that's already coming as far as science goes.
So back to that.
And then striving to understand and improve everything around you.
So talk back to that, and from a Nigerian context. So like, do you think that, because like that whole role of psychiatry and psychology has always been very difficult acceptance in
our environment.
In our environment.
Yes, because
people are beginning to chat like you. You probably have had more engagement with ChatGPT about issues than talking to a human being. So you think that's actually going to help replace, because you talk about mental health is actually key, especially as it relates to the body as well. So do you think that AI and technology is going to play a role in filling that gap? Because from my cultural perspective, talking to people about your problems is an issue, but that could be a transition or a segue into saying, okay, well, let me speak to somebody, since I'm already talking to somebody that is kind of responding to me in a...
Well, yes, AI will play a role in that, no doubt, because it's easy for you to tell AI, who you can't see, who's a non-person, what you really feel. But AI does not have the cultural context, the social context, as a psychiatrist would. Like a Nigerian who's lived in Nigeria all his life goes to see a psychiatrist in Switzerland. I think there's going to be conflict or non-understanding of the issues.
Yeah.
So the culture and all these things, AI is actually learning a lot about it.
Yeah.
But
learning a lot about you, the more information you give it,
yes, like
the more
this morning,
context that you give it.
My wife and I texted, I can't remember the topic, but to the same topic she put in her own AI and in my AI, and the answers were so different.
Of course.
So different, because AI already has an idea of what...
Who you are.
Yeah. Did you hear that? No. Okay.
Yeah. Go.
So AI already tries to understand who you are. I think they understand who you are better than you from the questions you ask AI. Yeah. So it's definitely going to play a role, and it's easier to talk to AI. But our own culture is changing. The people who will use AI now are also the sort of people who won't have a problem going to see a psychiatrist.
That's it. Yeah. So perfect human, 50 body parts working functionally, having mental therapy once in a while, either through artificial intelligence or through a human being, and wants to live longer and not afraid to die.
Well, that might be your perception. Everybody's going to have
one perception.
But I think, in my opinion, yes, perfect working body, perfectly working mind, and somebody who wants to understand and strives to get better, knowing that we are not going to be perfect, but strive to improve every day and improve everything around us and people around us. That to me would be perfect human.
Okay, last question. The whole idea of the whole idea of why life is sweet is because of imperfections. So in a world where, well, I think the only thing that will divide is, should I say, the ability to acquire those resources, in a world where everyone has, because I think that's where that utopia is, where everyone is equal, everyone is well. So everyone has access to, so everyone's body parts, because we're trying to eliminate cancer, we're trying to eliminate all these things. If you've eliminated all these things, what problems do you have? And if there are no problems, why are you existing? Because in the whole life of living, striving.
Well, interesting you say that, because when I was in the US, I wouldn't call it utopia, but I was very comfortable. Money wasn't an issue. But I was bored out of my mind. I could tell you where I was going to be 2 years from now at 4 p.m. on Saturday. I could tell you everything was scheduled out. To some people, that was just heaven. To me, it was hell. Coming to Nigeria now, where you cannot predict what is going to happen from 1 minute to the next, that's a lot more entertaining for me. It's a lot more challenging. I am much happier.
Yeah.
So it depends on your personality. So some people strive in chaos. So that's the thing you need to survive in Nigeria. But if you don't like chaos, then you're better off in a regimented society where everything is done for you. You turn on red, hot water comes on, you turn on white. Now you turn on red, maybe brown water will come out, maybe no water, maybe air pumping out. That is life to me. It is much more fun. But maybe I'm not well.
We're not all well. So I think this conversation has thrown up more questions than answers.
It always does. This kind of questions, we don't know the answer.
I think tomorrow is definitely going to be exciting, especially from a Nigerian context. Definitely, a lot of the things that we've seen in my science fiction movies are going to come, but how we deal with it, and how it changes how people think, how people feel, is going to be very, very interesting. And maybe with science, we might live long enough to see a bit of it.
We're already seeing that Star Trek. We're already seeing the medical part of Star Trek.
Definitely.
Because now, you don't need to start examining the patient. You just send them for a test, CT scan, MRI. You see a lot of things already that we couldn't tell 20 years ago. So a lot has gone in that direction, a lot.
I mean, actually, a lot has happened, especially in science, especially in medicine. I remember before, when I was young, the doctor just give you a couple of pills, take this, and you would not. Mm-hmm. Now today, it's just like as you're talking to me, and like someone's telling me, yes, he's right, he's wrong, So it's going to be interesting.
Yes, even in the next 10 years, a lot we're doing now is going to look archaic. A lot.
But Doc, you could better quickly find because I want to be first in line for replacement knees, because if I don't play, I've played tennis like since I was 10. I can't imagine. It will be interesting. I can't imagine. It will be interesting to live a life without tennis. Well, you've done it, but I don't want to do it. Maybe you were not that good.
Oh yes, I was there.
Yes.
I used to play very good tennis. I said I had to stop. I said, but I stopped. Because I said I can't play it, even if I got artificial knees. But by the time you might need, maybe not, the artificial knees will be able to let you play tennis.
Great, that's a good place to stop. Thank you.
All right.